Hey everybody, today we're going to do the beginning dimensioning problems that we've got. There are 9 drawings on this. You should get the drawing from your website. Of course, I want you to download it onto your Google Drive and work off of it from the Google Drive. That's important, okay? So I'm going to go to my drafting 1. I've got it in my dimensioning file. And I've got dimensioning 9 problems, and as you can see, I uploaded it on the 30th of November. So I'm going to click on it, and when this pops up, the reason why you want to do it through the web app now, don't forget, through the Google site, is because you can save it back to the Google site. You can share it with me easily that way. So that's the reason why I want you to do it that direction, please. Okay, and mine's being funky. It don't want to come up like it's supposed to. There it is. Okay. All right, so these are our 9 problems that we need to dimension, and if you refer to our sheets, so I'm going to drag them over here. Remember, we've got our dimensioning sheets. What we have here, of course, is, we always need, for every single feature, we need to give location left to right, location top to bottom. So in this case, we have a cylinder with a hole drilled through it, so it's actually 2 features. 3 inches left to right, 1.5 inches up and down to find the center, and then we give it size. So for the hole, it's a 1-inch diameter. We always point at the hole, right? So with a leader. For the cylinder, we're going to give its height, which is 1 inch, and we're going to give its diameter here where we see it as a rectangle. Okay, so that's how that works. So anyway, so there's that. If we're doing anything with counterbores, countersinks, spot faces, they're on the second cheat sheet number 2. Make sure you are using this. This is vital. Our fractional and decimal and millimeter equivalents. The biggest thing to remember, do not forget that 1/8 is actually 0.12. If it's 2 decimal places, 5/8 is 0.62. They're side by side. Look, straight across. Because AutoCAD's going to want to say 0.63 and 0.13. We have to manually override that and fix that. Okay? So make sure you're doing that. And then the last thing, the most important thing we'll use here too, is our geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, GD&T, our lowercase letters. And here's the ones we're going to be using primarily, the lowercase n. If we ever have to use a diameter symbol, we're going to type the lowercase n. If we need to use the counterbore symbol, it's a lowercase v. The countersink is a lowercase w, or depth for anything is a lowercase x. So those are the 4 that we've got to use, okay? So make sure you've got these. They're on the website, so you'll be able to pull them down, okay? I do want to show you real quick. I'm going to drag this over. Here are those sheets like we're talking about. See, if you scroll up, so week 15, 16, for this presentation, scroll down, right there they are, okay? So let's go back and see what we can do. So here are our 9 problems that we need to dimension. So remember, what we're doing is we are dimensioning. I like to personally dimension the actual cuts that's made or holes that are drilled or whatever the case may be, because that helps the person that's creating it. And don't forget now, like the top of this thing has 3 parts, 1, 2, 3. We're only going to dimension 2 of the 3, and then we're going to give an overall width. How about up and down? 1, 2. We're only going to give 1 dimension and then the overall height. The other one we don't need because of that, okay? So this one, look at this, 1, 2, 3 parts. We're only going to dimension 2. Now up and down. How about this? And we'll go back over this again in a minute. Well, look, from here down to here, we're going to pull out over here. So that's 1. From here up to here, that's 2. From here to here, that's 3. But how about what's left from the bottom of this to the top of this? Well, that's 4. So there would be 4 dimensions total right there. We're going to leave 1 of them out and give the overall. Okay? So let's get busy. So what do we want to do to start with? Well, one of the first things we want to do is I want to get my properties key up like we always do. When you've opened yours, it may say object up here in the layer. If it does, click, go to dimensions, because we're going to be doing dimensions today, okay? That way you're already there. Now the other thing we want to do is, where do we get our dimensions from? Well, if we go to annotate, all that means is note or dimension. Annotation. Put a note, put a dimension on it. So we're going to click on it, and look, here's our command that we want. This is our dimensioning tool. This is our measuring tool. It's distance. That's the rev cloud. Don't mess with that. You can play with it if you want to sometime, but it really don't do anything we need. We know what text does. We've messed with it a little bit. But right here, this is our leader tool. So this one and this one are the two we're going to be using. Okay? So let's get started with it. It's really kind of simple. So if I click on dimension, so I'm going to zoom into this. So I want to click, remember I have to work from the furthest corner out no matter what we're doing. We need to know from left to right how far it is to here. So if I click here and I click here, it'll drag straight up, no problem. But here is a problem. Look, see my gap down here? See that? Notice there's not one. And when I drag up here, there's not one. I need that gap. Now you can dimension it that way if you want to. And then hit escape or hit the escape key, click on it, and then drag this grip up. And it will give you, if you put on the endpoint, it'll give you your gap, just like it's supposed to. That's one way of doing it. That's really the long way of doing it. What's the short way of doing it? Well, let's click here. Now watch, if I click here and click here, what it wants to do, it wants to do what's called an aligned dimension, because I'm measuring from corner to corner. That's called a line. So notice it wants to do this. Well, I really don't want to do that. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to sort of move my cursor up and curve it a little bit to the top. It goes horizontal for me. That's beautiful. That's what I want. So I'm going to drop it right about there. Now how far? Remember, about 3/8 of an inch away. So look, that number is, I'm going to hit escape, by the way, or cancel. So that number is this tall. So there's one. Now down there, that's another one. That's about 2 of them. And down to there, that's about 3 of them. That's about 3/8 of an inch. That's good. Close enough, okay? So there's that. So it's that far in. Now, I'm going to go back into dimension. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here. And look, it's going to do something. But watch, I'm going to sort of rotate this way. Look, it dropped it right into place. Get about 3/8 of an inch away and drop it. There we go. Okay? So there's that one. It's this far up, it's this far in. Not only is that a location, it's also the size. You could say cut it this far down and cut it that far in. So it's location and size both. Okay? So how about this one over here? Well, remember, we never want to assume that it's symmetrical. So because we've got 1, 2, 3 parts, dimension, click, click, make it go up. There it is. Now, watch this. Come over here and hover over this. Uh-oh, it don't want to do it. I want to hover over this arrowhead and put them in line, but it don't want to do that for me. So I'm just going to drop that here. I'm going to hit cancel or the escape key, either one. Now watch, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to grab this grip. I'm going to click on that grip. Now I'm going to drag down. Now I'm going to go over here to this arrowhead and drop it. Now they're in line. I'm going to hit the escape key. The reason why, this is called a chain of dimensions. Even if there was one here, it would be a chain of dimensions or a string. You want them in line. Okay? So how about over here? Do I need to put this number in? Well, that's one of them. You said I need to do both of these, so hold on just a minute.
G3 bus riders that exposes 12. Sorry about that. 15, 22, 29, 114, 115, and 127. Thank you.
Sorry about that, y'all. All right, so you could put this one in. You could say it's 1.5 here. You really don't want to assume that it's symmetrical, but if it's something this obvious and this simple of a part, we could leave this one out. I would put both these because remember, 1, 2, 3 parts. Now right here, 1, 2 parts. Well, you say, well, I got 1, 2 parts over here. If you put this number in, I will not count it wrong. Okay? But if you take it out, I won't count it wrong either. I think this is a better representation. Okay? So now what else do we need? We need overall width. So I'm going to click on that corner and that corner, because that's the highest 2 corners for the overall width. I'm going to drag this up, maintain my 3/8 spacing, give or take. From here to here is the same as from here to here. That looks good. I need my overall height. So from here to here, get it to drag out horizontal and drop it there. There we go. That's done. First one's finished. So again, 1, 2, 3 parts, leave that one out. 1, 2 parts, leave that one out. I'm only dimensioning the actual cut. Same thing over here, because that one works for over here too. Like I said, y'all, if you do want to go ahead and put this in just to be consistent so you'll remember what you're doing, I'm good with that. If you want to drop that in like that, I'm good with that. Okay? All right, how about this one? Now this one, here's the only cut across the top. So there's only one feature. A lot of people say, oh, there's 2. Well, no, we make it by using a saw, by using a milling machine, whatever, to make that cut. So dimension. I'm going to work off of this corner. The reason why I picked this corner is because I'm going to work down this side also. I'm going to click on this corner. I'm going to drag up. And now look, I'm going to come over here and hover over that arrowhead. Watch. It'll let me do this because I started horizontal. Okay? That puts everything in line on this drawing. You really don't have to do that, but I just like to. Now I'm going to click here and here. I did not get out of the dimensioning command, so I can just keep right on doing it. Touch my arrowhead. There it is. I'm still in my dimensioning command. Now this time, I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here. There it goes, wanting to do a line again, so I'm going to have to sort of force it out here. There we go. Drop it in place. Boom. So I'm going to hit cancel on purpose here. So look, this feature, location, size. Remember, always location left to right, location top to bottom, size. Sometimes we can do it all in 2 dimensions. On some things, we can actually do it in 1 dimension. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay? So how about this cutout? Well, let's work off of this corner. So, click, click, come up here and hover over the arrowhead, click. Now remember, if it wants to twist it or turn it, drop it and then drag it back where you want it. Okay? Now I'm still in the command. How wide is that cut? Click, click, and I can either touch this arrowhead or this one. It don't matter, because they're in line. Okay? Now how deep is the cut, or where is it located at down to the bottom? So I'm going to go click, click, and drag down there. I want that down. Now notice what it does. Notice that it throws this number to the outside. That's okay. We can override that. How do we do it? Well, let's cancel or escape, either one. Click on the actual dimension. Now, see the blue grip on the number? Click on it. Look, I can drag it to the midpoint of that line and drop it. And look what it does. I'm going to hit escape. There we go. That's what we want, nice and clean. Okay? So, location, location, size. There's that one done. Now, look what this says here. Use location angle for the actual angle. What does that mean? That means this. Let's go back and look at our cheat sheet. So, location angle, see, location, left to right or top to bottom, it don't matter, and then an angle. This one is location, location. See, we give just dimensions, left to right, top to bottom. This one's actually got degrees on it. That's what that means. Okay? So, it says use location angle for this one. So, I'm going to go dimension. Now, I'm going to click here. I want to give the dimension at the bottom because it's going to be cleaner if I do. Come over here. Now, look, I want to put it even with this, but I don't want to do it. So, just again, get it to go down. Okay? Now, hit cancel or escape. Click on it. Grab that blue grip. Now, come up and hover over that arrowhead. It'll line it up for you. Now, hit escape. There we go. All right, now, it said to use angle. So, now watch what I do now this time. It's the first time we've done this because all we've done so far is what's called linear dimensions, left to right or top to bottom. Okay? Click again. But now look, click on angular down here. Okay? Now, we want it from the horizontal to the angle itself, and now drag out. Now look, still about the same pacing, about 3/8 right there, from the end of the arrowhead to the line. So that's pretty good right there, 45. There we go. So now, what's the only thing we got left? Right, overall width, overall height. Back into dimension. I'm going to click on, the reason why I'm starting here is just because I know where I'm headed toward. Click here, and I'm going to come over here and hover over this arrowhead. Click. There we go. Uh-oh. Remember this problem? We said 5/8 needs to be 0.62, and look what it did. It says 0.63. Not good. So how am I going to fix that? Okay. Well, watch. In the web app, it's pretty easy. I need to change this. Well, this is text for all intents and purposes, okay? So we're going to edit the text. Well, how do we do that? Start typing. Hit the letter T. Hit the letter E, and look what pops up. Text edit. Click on that. So now it says select annotation. Well, that's numbers or letters. Click on that, and look what we get. The thing I like about this is it gives you this white box. In AutoCAD, we would have to delete the whole thing because it would be in a blue box and then retype 3.62. But in the web app, I can just come over here and click at the end and backspace one time and put in my 2, hit the check mark. There you go. That's all you got to do to fix it. Okay? Really simple. Now, let's go back into dimension. Let's click here. Make sure you're getting the end point of the object. Okay? Click here and drag out. Drop it there. There we go. That is fully dimensioned. Remember, you want to always go around when you get done. Located left to right, located top to bottom, size. Located left to right, located top to bottom, size. Located left to right, located and sized all in one. There it is. And then overall height and width, because these are single views. That's all we need to do. Well, how about this one? This one says use location, location for this one. Okay, we can do that. So we're going to go to dimension. We're going to do linear. We're going to click here. We're going to click here. We're going to drag up, make it go that way. There. Here, it's hard to get to do. All right, so I'm going to, again, just drop it. Now, yeah, I would love to have it lined up with that. Remember, if you'll hit the escape key, you can just click on it now, click on your endpoint, now come over here and hover, and that'll line it up. It just makes it look good. We technically don't have to do that. Did it move it? I don't think it did. Let's try it again. Yeah, it's in line. Okay, so we're good. Okay, this object's shorter than this one. Okay. You know, really, this dimension should be on down here because that object is shorter. That's more like 3/8. So, okay. So anyway, how about the other direction? Same thing. Click, endpoint. Remember the square, endpoint. Drag this way, drop it in. Now look, 2.63, hit cancel. Type in TE again. Click on the text edit, click here. And again, I'm going to click at the end and hit my backspace, put in a 2 instead, and hit the check mark. There we go. What do we need? Because that's all the dimensions we need for that corner. All we need now is overall click, click, and drag this way. Oops, get turn for you, put it right about there. Okay. Now I'm going to show you something. I have people ask me this all the time. So that's where that goes, at 6 inches. Yes, you can do this. Uh-oh, I undid too far. There we go. You can do this. Just make sure you go to the right place. I can click there and I can click where them two intersect and drag up like that and not have to fight that thing. If you do it correctly, that will work also. But remember, you're working from that corner. So it's got to be perfect if you're going to do that. Okay? So like this one. I'm going to do this one correctly. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here and I'm going to make it drag out horizontally. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't need that. I've already done that. Do it again. Repeat last command. Click and click here. Now drag out. There's our 4-inch height. And drop it into place. Okay, so there. That's done. All right, how about this one? We've got 2 cutout corners. We've got a hole. All right, this is a little bit different. For a hole, we do want to dimension the center point because that's where the drill bit's going to go, right? So our center lines work for us. Now notice we've always left our little gaps everywhere, right? Everybody agree? A center line becomes an extension line. So we don't want a gap here, okay? What we don't want is this. Let me show you what we don't want. We don't want this. So I drop it in place. See that gap right there? That right there? We don't want that. Okay? What we want is this. We're going to click on the corner. Oops. Scroll up a little bit. Click here. Now, go to the quadrant. Now, drag out horizontal. Drop it into place. There it is. Okay. Do the same thing. Here, let me go back. Dimension. Click here. And quadrant. Drag down. Oops. Make it drag straight down. There it is. Click. Okay. There's those two. Now, I'm not going to, now, again, notice no gaps. I'm not going to do the diameter yet. Here's the reason why. I want you to see something. Dimension. Look. If I go to dimension and now I touch that arc, notice if I touch it up here a little bit higher, it actually pops up. Okay, but here's the problem. It wants to put that inside. Look, it's even touching, the 5's touching that line. And we can never put a number over here on the object. So how am I going to get those there? Well, instead of using the radius dimension, we're going to use the leader command. Because remember, all a leader is an arrow, an angled arrow that touches something and tells us what it is. It's kind of like pointing at it with your finger. So I'm going to click on this. But now watch. This is going to be kind of weird. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to get the center point or the midpoint of this arc. Now I'm going to drag back and look, because we've got our polar snapped to 45, it'll automatically click into place for you and pass right through that center point. That's beautiful. So let's drop it right about there. Now, here's my window. Make sure your cap lock is on, because if you don't, you're going to get them funky symbols that we talked about. So I'm going to cut my cap lock on. I need the letter R for radius. See it right there? And this one, by the way, I know how big this one is. If you don't, you're actually going to have to go out, come back in, and type it in. So I'm going to pretend like I didn't know. So I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to say check. And you say, wait a minute, didn't tell the size. You're right. What I have to do is I have to find out how big this is. Well, how do I do that? I can go to measure. And I can come right here. Now look, it's wanting to do all this weird stuff. So I'm going to go distance. I'm going to go from midpoint to the, where? How about straight up? No, that ain't going to work. How about straight over? Well, what I want is to there. There it is, to the center point is 1.25. So it will work. The other thing you could do, you could click here, and I could click here, and here and drag out just to see. Oh, it's 1 1/4. Okay. But we're not going to do that way. We want that number here. Okay. So usually what I do, I'm going to get rid of the whole thing. I always check that number first. So I'll click there, and find out what that number is. Then I'd come back and do my leader and do it correctly. It just makes it easier if I do this. So my capital letters there are 1.25. Notice no space. Hit the check mark. There you go. That's it. How about down here? This one's 1 inch. I'll go ahead and tell you. So again, leader, midpoint or center point, drag down, click, R 1.00, check mark. There we go. So why did I do them before I did the circle? Well, we don't want the leader for the circle for the diameter to cross any dimension lines. That's a line with a number in it. We really don't want to come down through here because that's going to create a mess. We can't go up through here. That's going to create a mess. And look at this. We're going to give the overall height on this side because it cleans it up. See there? This is, remember, we talked about chaining dimensions over here, chaining them. Well, this is grouping. See how this number is right over the top of these? This number is right out to the side of these. We want to group dimensions together. So I don't want to put this over here. I want them grouped together. I don't want to put the overall width up here. I want them grouped together. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here. Now I'm going to make it drag straight down, and I'm going to drop it right about there. Okay. So why did I do that? Well, guess what? That tells me the only place I can really put that diameter is over here. So how am I going to do that? Well, watch. I'm in dimension. If I zoom in and sort of touch this circle, it'll grab the circle for me. Now it will let me, because it's a full circle, it will let me drag this out and just drop it into place. Now I'm going to hit cancel or escape, and there it is. Now remember, the arrowhead must touch what we're talking about. And for radius and diameter, the arrow must always either cross through or point toward the center point. So if this line kept right on going, it would cross right through the center point. It can't be at an angle. So I can't go leader and click on the quadrant and drag out here and do, remember the letter, lowercase n? Look what it does. It actually puts that n in there. And then 1.00, and you think, that don't look right, hit the check mark. Watch what happens. Okay? Yes, that's the right size, but see how this is pointing here and not at the center? Don't do that. If you decide you want to use a leader instead of using just the diameter dimension, here's what you would do. Leader. Come over here and physically click on the center point or the midpoint of that line, either one. Drag out here. And again, lowercase n, 1.00, check mark. Now, what do? It's only supposed to touch the circle. It don't go to the middle. Click on it, click on the grip, drag it back to the X. That's how you would fix that, okay? Use either one of these, but not both of them, of course, okay? I like using the diameter one just because it's easy. So there we go. That one's fully dimensioned. Guess what? This one is exactly the same as this one. It's just laid over on its side. Okay, so there's really nothing to it. So again, what would we do? Oh, we would click here, here, drag out. We would click, grab my corner, click here, click here. Now I got it. And make it drag straight down. Hard to do sometimes. Let's zoom in a little bit. There it is. If you zoom in a little bit, it gets easier. Okay? How about radius? Remember, we have to use the leader tool. Drag out, click. Now, how big was it? Oh no, he forgot to check. So again, the easiest way to do it, honestly, is come in here, and if you'll grab that midpoint and grab that right there, it's 1.75, and then just hit escape. Okay, so now guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to click on that. Uh-oh, it don't give me my text. Yeah, if you ever click out of that before you put in text, all you got is the leader. So do it again. Midpoint, drag out. Do you remember what the number was? Was it 1.25? I've already forgotten. Click. 1.75. There we go. 1.75. Midpoint. Out. Through the middle. There we go. Capital R. 1.75. Check mark. There we go. Let's go do this one. You may want to check that dimension first, right? So click here or the one to the side, either one. 2 inches. See, notice I didn't even click there. I'm just going to hit escape now. 2 inches. Midpoint out through it. Capital R, 2.00. Notice no space between the R and the 2. Click. There we go. All right, how about the actual circle itself, the hole? It's going to have to go up here. So again, I'm going to use my dimension tool just because I think it's easier. There it is. Drag out, drop, but look what it is. It's a 0.63. So I'm going to hit escape or cancel. Do my TE, text edit. Click on it. Now go click here. And all I want to change is that. Now if I highlight the whole thing by accident, delete the whole thing, you can do the lowercase n 2.62. It'll be fine. Now I just like to click out here. Dang, I got a mess. I'm going to hit the escape key. I'm going to come back in. Okay, repeat last command. There it is. Now click, backspace 2. There it is. Okay? So what have I got left? Overall height and width. Which end am I going to put it on? Because I worked off of this corner, I'm going to put it on this end. So click. Now, do you notice something? Do you notice I don't have any lines across here like I did over here? And look at this. I've got a real problem here. Watch what I did. Click, drag out. Because I put those lines in, I needed to start that right there at that little endpoint. Okay? Need to do the same thing over here. I've got a mess. Okay? So how am I going to fix that? Well, watch. I'm going to go here. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to drag it out and drop it. Boom. Now, I still need a line right there. Okay, it's 1.75. This just takes a little bit of work, but it's easy to do actually. Click. Now I'm going to hover. I'm going to drag across. I'm going to say start 1/16 away. There's my first point. Okay. Uh-oh, it didn't do it. Do it again. Repeat last command. Zoom in. Hover. Drag 1/16. That time it did it. Look at there. I'm going to drag it over here. And I'm going to click. Now I'm going to click on that. And I need to back it up 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to click and I'm going to start dragging. And I don't know what that value is. So how do I do that? Honestly, y'all, the easiest thing to do is cheat. Go into your line command. Hover there and drag back and type in 1/16 again. And just put you a line there and say confirm. It don't matter how long it is. We just want it there long enough so I can grab that grip and back it up to it. I say, now highlight that and say, highlight it. There, delete. Now, how do I get to one down here? Remember the modify and use the mirror. So I'm going to mirror. I'm going to select that object. I'm going to say confirm. I'm going to get it right there at the midpoint of that crosshair, and I'm going to drag up at 45 degrees and say no. There we go. Now I need the exact same thing down here. And this one's bigger. I wish I could copy it, but I can't. So back to draw, line. It don't matter which one we start on. I'm going to start here. I'm going to drag this way. I'm going to say 1/16 for 1/16 of an inch. Drag over, say confirm, line, hover, drag back, 1/16 for my first point. I'm just going to make me a little, I can draw that line this way. It honestly don't matter. Okay, hit confirm. And then, of course, use my grip. Click, grab the grip, drag it back. There it is. Now click on that and delete it. There it is. And, of course, use that modify mirror. There's the object I want to mirror. Hit enter and say confirm. I want to start at the crosshair. Drag down. You could go to right there. Would be perfect. And click and say no. There we go. So we did all that to clean it up because of the mess that I made. Now, I do want to show you something. Do you notice something? Do you notice that line's crooked? Look down here. Whew. That's a mess. So I'm going to delete that. You need to catch that. What I did was I went from that corner to that point. They don't line up. The midpoint lines up down here. Okay? So yeah, I've created a monster with this, okay? You need to start. Now watch this. I'm going to start. This is going to be weird, but watch what I do. I'm going to go modify. I want to start right there. I'm going to drag up, and I'm going to come to here. I'm going to drag out. I'm going to get my 4.5. There, that's all well and good, okay? And say cancel. But look what I've got. So if I click and I drag over to the end point, where's my end point at? Oh, right there it is. Look what it does for me. It puts it in the right place. Okay? That'll clean that up for you. All right, I know that was a lot. I apologize. So there, that one's done. Now what do we do with a fully rounded end? This is fully rounded, okay? So this is a radius. This Think about this. This started life as a hole. Okay, so there was a hole in this thing. So we had to use a drill bit. So we need diameter for that. I know there's a slot cut over to it, but we got to use diameter for that, okay? So let's do that real quick. So let's go dimension. Now again, get over tight to it. Watch, I'm going to get over here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There's my radius. And look, because I'm starting there, I can put it just exactly in the right place. There it is, 1.5. Now guess what I'm going to do? I'm still in dimension. I'm going to go from here to here, and I'm going to drag up, and I'm going to line it up with that. Click. These two numbers together give us the overall width. This is one of the few times we're going to make somebody add. Okay? So remember, center line keeps on going, no gap. Here we want the gap. Okay? Now, not only is this the overall width, but that radius of 1.5, well, if you take 1.5 to here, 1.5 to here, that's 3 inches wide. We don't give overall height either. Okay? So what else do we need to do? Well, let's locate from here to here and drag out. There it is. Now, because it's a cut, I don't want cancel. I want to stay in the command. Click, click, and drag out and line up your arrows. Click. Come in 7/8 and make a 1 1/4 inch cut. Well, how far? When you hit the hole, you're done. We don't have to give a dimension there. Okay? The only thing we've got left is that actual diameter. So we're still in dimension. Now notice, click, but look what it does. Oh no, it gives me radius. I want diameter. The reason why it's giving us radius is because this is missing. So how can we figure it out? Well, look. Click on dimension. Let's cheat a little bit. Let's click here. Let's come down here and hover, and look. When I hover on both quadrants, it's 1.88. Okay? So it's 1 1/8. Two ways of doing this. I could use my leader, but the other thing I can do is I can click on this. There's my radius. I'm going to drag out, drop it. Now watch. Hit escape. Remember, text edit, TE, click. Now watch what I'm going to do. Highlight the whole thing. Lowercase n. Remember? Look, let me show you. Lowercase n is diameter symbol. Lowercase n, I know it says n, 1.88, and hit the check mark, and look what it does for us. But there we go. Done. Okay? That's all we need for that, believe it or not. That's it. All right? Now how about this one? Fully rounded end. Fully rounded end. That's just a rounded corner. Okay, so let's get started. So let's go dimension, zoom in, click on that, drag up. Uh-oh, look what it's wanting to do, because I didn't give it a chance. When I grabbed the midpoint of that arc, it messed it up. Come down here and sort of touch down here. Now click, and now you can drag it wherever you want it. Okay, so drag it out. There we go. All right, that's good. And notice how it cancels. I just finished it off. While I'm in radius, though, I should have went ahead and done this. Look, hover. It's the same size radius. How about that? Click. How about here? Hover, click. They're all three the same size. How about that? Okay. So now what do we need? Now we need location from here to the, where? To here. Now look, I'm going to leave a gap, so I'm going to pick the end point. Now I'm going to force it to drag out horizontal. Come on, drag out horizontal for me. Okay. Now, there's a problem with this. That really don't give us a thing. Okay. So what do? Instead of going to there, now this is going to definitely look weird. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go to this end point of the arc, and now I'm going to force it to go horizontal. And I'm going to drop it right there. Okay. Because that's where I need it to go to. Now you say, where's my gap? It's there. You just can't see it. That's a problem, isn't it? You know what you have to do a lot of times when that happens? If you click there and drag it up to, let's say here, it kind of cleans it up a little bit. Okay? You don't have to do that today, though. Just leave it. It'll be fine. Okay? So now, if this dimension is too close to this, you don't really want that there. If you'll click on it, grab your grip, and drag it up a little bit, you can get it up here and away a little bit, and it'll look a little better. There, don't that look better? Okay. So from that edge to the center point, so that plus that gives us our overall height. Now how about the other direction? Very same thing. Click on this endpoint and this, and make it go horizontal. There it is. Drop it in place. Now, because that's that high up, I would probably drag this up a little bit higher. Sort of get it in line. Wouldn't hurt a thing. Right about there. Okay? There we go. So that's how we would do that, okay? Now we are missing something. How about the holes? These two holes are exactly the same size. So what do I do in a case like that? This is kind of fun. Watch this. We're still in this. So I'm going to click here. Ooh, we missed one. Do you see that? There's a radius. Let's get this one instead. So we got diameter. I'm going to drag it out to here. Now, I'm going to do my text edit again. TE, edit. I'm going to click on this. All I want to do is add to the front. So notice, I'm not going to delete anything. Make sure my cap lock is on. 2x space. This time we put a space. The quantity always goes in front of the number. There are two holes with a diameter of 0.75. Don't think it means to double that. That means there are two holes. 1, 2. Okay? So, again, did you see what we missed? How about this one? This one we're going to have to use a leader, because if we do this, and we get in here, zoom in tight, and we try to find, there's our radius, and we come out here like this. See what it wants to do? It wants to drop it there. That ain't going to work. So let's click here. Let's get our midpoint. Let's drag down. Did you notice it was a 1/2 inch though? We can use that. So we drag out. Uh-oh, missed my midpoint. Hit escape. Get rid of it. Do it again. You want to make sure it passes through that midpoint. Quad. There you go. Right on it. Click out. Now it's there. Capital R. Do you remember the number? I forgot it. I think it was 0.5, but we're going to put it in there and then we're going to come back and check. Okay, so let's go back to here and let's come here and hover. Yep, it was 0.5. Good. So there's that. See, that one's different size than the other three. Okay, so that's fully dimensioned. I know it looks really weird, but that's it. Okay, because a fully rounded end and a fully rounded end. That's what's messing people up. Okay, so how about this one? Look, again, two fully rounded ends on opposite ends. This one's kind of fun. Watch this. I'm going to do this part first. So from the quadrant to the quadrant. Okay, but if we do this up here, it looks kind of weird. So I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to do it at the bottom. The reason why it's a lot cleaner, watch. If I do from here, because this is horizontal, to here, notice I went from quadrant to quadrant and drop it in there. That looks a whole lot cleaner, don't it? Okay, now I'm still in dimension. Hover, find radius. There it is. Click. Now drag it down here, find any error, and come over here a little bit, right about there. Same thing here. Hover, 1 inch, get it to take. So click, now drag down, hover to your arrow, drag out, and click. Add those three things together. That's overall width. It's also overall height here, okay? So this line is tangent, by the way. This one don't make it up here. That's the reason why we couldn't use this corner and this corner. It wouldn't have been right. All right? So what else? It would have been right. I don't know what I'm thinking. It would have been okay. So we gave radius. The only thing we need is the size of that hole and the size of that hole. And that's it. So again, dimension, hover, click, drag out, drop it. Hover, click, drag out, drop it. That's all we need for that one. That's it. Okay. All right, how about this one? I'm still in dimension. You know, if you hit escape, that's okay. Just go right back in. So what am I going to do? Well, I've got a big hole right here. See it? So where am I going to click at? I think I'll click here. That's fine. Drag out. Uh-oh, that's a mess. No, I don't want that. So notice I hit escape a couple times. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to hover. There, it got my diameter. Now I can drag it out. It'll let me. Just drop it there. Okay? 3-inch diameter hole. We're good. Now what else do we need? How about the big one? How about this one? Hover, click, drag out. Let's drop it. Oh, there. Okay. Ain't that thing big? That's huge, right? Okay. How about the center line, the circle itself? Yeah, we need that. So believe it or not, I'm going to get this one. Okay, now where do I want to put it? Well, look, here's the cool part about it. I can bring that all the way over here if I want to. So it's really kind of cool the way we can move things around. Okay. I'm going to drop that one in right there. Okay. So there's that. Now the only thing I don't have is the little ones and the angles. Do you remember how we did that? We would use the polar array to get that where we wanted it. Okay. So what else do we need? Well, we do need this. So again, I'm going to hover here. I think I'll do this one. And drag out and drop it. Okay? Now, what do I need to do to clean this up? Well, watch this. I'm going to hit Escape, and I'm going to hit my TE, my text edit, and I'm going to click on this. I'm going to edit this note. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 of them. So 8x space, 1.5 inches. Okay? What else do I need? Well, I can do this one of two ways. I can click on the endpoint and hit my enter key, and I can put in EQ period SPACED equally spaced and hit the check mark. That's one way of doing it. I don't like that way. I just don't like the way it looks. Okay? So I'm going to undo that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my TE. I'm going to say text edit, click. I'm going to click on it. And I am going to do the 8x. I like that. And my space. So there, I like that. Now, what do I not like? Well, I don't like the fact that I don't know the angles. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back into Dimension. And I'm going to click here. And I'm going to click here. But there's a problem. Look what happens when I do that. That just gives me a linear dimension. So here's where you've got to read. I hit Escape. Angular. Cool. Click. Now, where do I want it to come from? That's a center line, so I can use it. So I'm going to click on this line. I'm going to click on this line. And look, I'm going to drag up. It's 45 degrees. So I'm going to drop it right there. Now I'm going to hit Escape. I'm going to do TE and do text edit. I'm going to click here. Now all this mess, leave it alone. It's okay. Just leave it alone. Come to the end of it. That's the computer talk for the degree symbol. I'm going to hit enter. What I want is TYP period. Typical. And hit my check mark. There we go. That's beautiful. Okay? That's all we need. All right. I will tell you one thing. This probably needs to be with this dimension. So how would we do that? Well, if we accidentally put it in the wrong place, so let's delete that. Now remember what it was. Okay? This we're going to move. Let's drag this down here. Let's sort of put it down here. This is a good place for it. Now, you know what? It kind of does need to be up here somewhere. So it's all sorted together. I'm going to put it right about over here. Okay? Now I'm going to hit Escape. The reason why I want it here is because I want all this over here on this side. Now I'm going to go back in. I'm going to jump in here, get really tight. Find it there, find it there, found it. Now I'm going to drag out here. I can't have it horizontal. I got to have an angle. So I'm going to drop this right about here. Now I can escape and do my TE one more time. Just hope I would have got it right the first time. Click. Now we had 8 capital X space. Check. There we go. So that's it. That's all of those fully dimensioned. So on this one, look. Overall size, size of the hole in quantity. Location of the hole with this diameter and this. Now again, I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to think I'm nuts for showing you this. I'm going to click on it. I may even want that over here. And you say, wait a minute, why do you keep moving something? Well, here's the reason why. If I drop this down here, over, say, right in here. Now hit Escape. So notice, all this works together now. See it? All that works together. It's almost too straight up and down. Let's drag it on over here a little bit. Right about over there. That looks so much better if I drop it right there. Okay? So all that kind of works together. Now, this is the outer, this is the inner, and all three of these have to be there together. That's not, makes it nice and clean. Got it? Okay, so that's those 9. That's what you're going to do. And of course, remember, you're going to do File. You're going to say Save As. Or you can just hit Save on yours and save it, and you'll be done. Okay? That's what you need to do. Everybody good? Great. Have a great day. Sorry it took so long to get through it, but you'll have fun with it.